My sister took everything from me, my spot, my team, my future. But when she thought I was done, I made sure everyone saw the truth. She's not the rising star she pretended to be. She's a backstabbing fraud. Let's see how long she stays on top now. I could hear the roar of the crowd even from the suite. Thousands of fans, LED wristbands pulsing in unison, all cheering for a team that I was supposed to be leading. The glass wall between me and the arena barely muted their excitement, and I just stood there, stiff in my overpriced designer tracksuit, staring at the blank monitor in front of me like it might make this all make sense. My name is Tessa. I'm 22, and up until a few months ago, I was the breakout captain of Eclipse Core, one of the fastest-growing esports teams in the North American circuit. Today was supposed to be the championship I carried us to. My moment. But instead of booting up my rig and taking the stage, I was sidelined, watching from the VIP box like just another face in the crowd. Correction, not just any face, the big sister. The supportive one. The one they all expected to clap politely while my sister took my seat, my team, my entire damn legacy. The monitor flickered as the stream warmed up. I saw her face first, Kayla, my baby sister, plastered across the screen with fake humility and a sponsored hoodie zipped halfway up. She gave a shy wave to the camera, then turned to her teammates with the same look I used to give them. Comfortable, familiar, like she belonged. I didn't move, just sat there, watching as the camera panned to the rest of the lineup. And there he was, Chase, still wearing the team headset I custom-ordered last season, still chewing his lower lip like he always did when he was nervous. I gripped the edge of the desk so tightly my knuckles whitened. My ex-teammate, my ex-boyfriend, and now apparently her new duo partner. A soft knock came at the door. I didn't turn. I knew it was Mom before she even said anything. Tess, they're about to start. You coming? I waited a beat before replying. Already watching. She took a few tentative steps in. I caught her reflection in the screen, dressed to the nines like she was attending the Oscars instead of an esports final. I know it's hard, she said gently, but she really looks up to you. She needs you here. I forced a smile. She looked up to me so much, she took everything I had. Mom's lips thinned. That's not fair. I didn't answer, because I wasn't sure who she thought she was defending. Me? Kayla? Maybe just the illusion of family harmony. The screen shifted to the caster's table. One of them grinned into the camera and said, "Big day today, especially for the rookie captain Kayla Rowe, stepping into big shoes after her sister stepped away this season." Stepped away. That's what they were saying now. I hadn't stepped away. I had been pushed. And now I was here, in a $4,000 box seat they made sure to comp for me, so I could watch the sister who stabbed me in the back claim the spotlight I'd spent 4 years earning. I leaned in, clicked the stream full screen, and whispered, "Let the games begin." It started small. So small I almost didn't notice. Kayla had always floated around when we were growing up. Never really into games, more into TikTok dances and weird DIY slime videos. But when Eclipse Core started gaining traction and I signed my first sponsorship deal, suddenly she was watching our practice streams on the living room TV, commenting like a superfan. At first it felt kind of sweet, like maybe she finally saw what I'd been building. She'd peek her head into my room between scrims and say things like, "That was a sick flank you pulled earlier," or "You guys have insane synergy, especially you and Chase." I'd smile. "Yeah, we've been grinding nonstop." She nodded wide-eyed like she was genuinely impressed. Do you think you'll be in Korea next year?" I remember laughing. "If we keep climbing, probably." She grinned. "That'd be so cool. I could be like your team vlogger or something." Weird joke, but I shrugged it off. I didn't have time to think too hard about it. We were chasing regional qualifiers, getting flooded with merch partnerships, and Chase had just moved into the team house with me and 2 other players. Everything was hectic in the best way. But then I started noticing little things, like how she began demeaning Chase. At first I didn't care. He told me she had asked about his keyboard settings, how he got rid of lag during streams. Typical stuff. Then it was tips on OBS overlays. Then how to handle trolls in chat. "Why is she asking you this?" I asked one night after a particularly long scrim. "She doesn't even stream." Chase shrugged. "I guess she wants to start. Just trying to be supportive, babe." I wanted to believe that. I did. But it didn't stop there. She started showing up to practices in person, claiming she was just dropping off snacks. She'd linger behind our setups, watching, nodding like she understood every call-out. I tried to laugh it off. "Damn, you shadowing me now?" She giggled. "What? Can't I be proud of my sister?" She asked more questions. Probing ones. "How do you and Chase keep your timing so tight? What's your backup strat if you get countered mid-map? Do you guys ever argue about roles? Like, do you have veto power or something?" I answered half distracted, usually with one earbud still in. But later, thinking back, I realized she wasn't just curious. She was cataloging everything. And the weirdest part? Chase never told her no. He stayed up late, helping her set up her stream alerts. He gave her our scrim schedule. Even showed her our private team Discord, the one where we theory-crafted new builds. When I finally brought it up, he said, "It's harmless. She's just a fan." "She's not a fan," I said, narrowing my eyes. "She's studying us." He laughed. "She's your sister. Stop being paranoid." But something about the way he said it, how quickly he brushed it off, it stuck with me. Because I wasn't being paranoid. I was watching the first cracks form. I just didn't realize how fast they'd spread. I had the gear custom made. Not some basic branded hoodie, this was top tier. Heat map compression fabric with her gamer tag stitched along the shoulder in chrome thread. I even added a small Eclipse Core logo on the back, thinking it might remind her who helped her get her start. I hadn't seen Kayla in over a week. Things had been weird since the league roster shuffle. I was taking a break, according to Chase, though nobody officially said I'd been benched. I still believed I could get back in, fix things, prove that I was still captain material. So I drove over to the team house that afternoon with the gear packed in a silver gift bag. Chase didn't answer my texts, but I figured he was mid-practice. I had the spare key, we all did, so I let myself in, careful not to slam the door. The house was quiet, too quiet. No clacking keyboards, no shouted callouts, just faint sounds from the living room. At first I thought it was a paused stream, some idle YouTube video, but when I stepped into the room I froze. There they were, Chase and Kayla, tangled on the couch like they belonged there. Her legs over his, her hand on his chest, a PlayStation controller still in his lap, dropped to one side. The menu screen was frozen, a fighting game, something casual, not even esports related. She didn't even flinch when she saw me. Oh, she said, tilting her head. You weren't supposed to see this yet. I didn't say a word. I couldn't. My body moved before my brain did, hands dropping the gift bag onto the hardwood, breath catching somewhere between rage and heartbreak. Chase sat up fast, eyes wide, reaching toward me like that meant something. Tess, wait, it's not what it looks like. I backed up. 1 step. 2. My throat burned, but I kept it shut. I wouldn't give them that. Kayla shifted, pulling the controller into her lap like it had just fallen there. We were going to tell you, she said, almost bored. It just kind of happened. I nodded slowly. My fingers were trembling. Right, I whispered. Just happened. And then I walked out. Not because I didn't have more to say, but because I didn't trust myself not to scream, or throw something, or fall apart right in front of them. It was raining when I got back to my car. I sat in the driver's seat for what felt like an hour, staring through the windshield as droplets smeared everything into gray. The gift bag was still in my hand. I tossed it in the back seat without looking at it again. 2 days later, my parents called. At first, I thought maybe they were calling to check on me. I had told Mom once, in a rare moment of vulnerability, how much Chase meant to me, how we were planning to sign a co-streaming deal, how I might even move in with him full-time. Instead, Mom said, try to be mature about this. Dad chimed in, they're both young. These things happen. Young. Like that excused betrayal. I didn't reply. I just hung up. Then I blocked all 3 of them. I always let my parents handle the financial side of things. That was the deal. I focused on tournaments, practice, and sponsorships. They made sure the bills were paid, contracts were stored, tax forms sent in on time. It felt safer that way, especially when I was 17 and suddenly making more money in a month than my high school teachers made in a year. Even after I turned 21, I didn't change it. I figured I owed them something for supporting my dreams. But after what happened with Chase and Kayla, I couldn't ignore the itch in the back of my mind, the one whispering that this mess ran deeper than just a stolen boyfriend. So I started looking. The first thing I checked was the shared PayPal account I'd set up years ago to split prize money and payments. I hadn't touched it in months. The balance was low, lower than it should have been. I clicked into the transaction history, and that's when I saw it. Recurring payments, hundreds, sometimes thousands, flowing out every few weeks. Tech investment, camera rig, soundproof panels, Elgato light system, stream deck, all marked as Kayla Initiative. Kayla Initiative? I blinked, scrolled back further. More charges, one-time equipment purchases, subscriptions to streaming tools, even a few studio rental payments, all traced back to my fund. I checked the email used on the receipts, my email, but the shipping address? Not mine, not the team house. It was our parents' place. Every item had gone to her, in my name. I opened a new tab and checked the bank account tied to my biggest sponsorship, an energy drink collab I signed last fall. That one was supposed to be direct deposited into a savings account, but the routing number had been changed. I traced it. A secondary checking account, under a joint name, me and Mom. No authorization, no notification. Then I saw the kicker, a loan application under my name. 40 grand. Business startup, it said. Approved and drawn down in full. The funds had already been disbursed. I clicked through the PDF. The address listed for the business was a WeWork downtown, rented under Kayla's name. The purpose? Content production. That's when I saw red. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't even call anyone. I just sat there, breathing like I'd sprinted a mile, and opened a new window to freeze every account I could find. I locked them all, changed passwords, contacted the bank, reported the fraud. Then I pulled the plug. Access revoked. Autopays canceled. Legal notices sent. They didn't even bother to deny it. When my parents finally called, their excuse was it was for the family. Mom actually said you weren't using it. She needed help. And that was when I realized something I should have seen a long time ago. They never supported my career. They just knew how to monetize it. It started with a group chat, a tiny side project that a friend of mine from the scene, Robin, cybersecurity geek, ex-Overwatch analyst, had been building. We used it to swap rumors, screenshots, and callouts about shady sponsors or rigged tryouts. But this time I messaged Robin directly. I need to find out what my sister's hiding, I typed. 10 minutes later, she replied, finally. I was wondering when you'd ask. We met that night over Discord. I screen shared everything, the PayPal logs, the loan docs, the streaming receipts in my name. Robin barely blinked. She'd seen worse. But then I said she used my name, my accounts. I want everything. Every alt, every burner, everything she thinks is private. Robin grinned. Now you're speaking my language. She started digging. At first, it was the basic stuff. Throw away Twitter handles with 1 follower. Barely used Reddit accounts with familiar typos. DM saved to cloud folders she forgot to lock down. Then came the gold. An Instagram backup folder labeled all content. Inside, voice notes, screenshots, captions she'd written but never posted. The first voice memo opened with Kayla's laugh, slightly slurred. He's dumb, she said, voice echoing like she was pacing a room. But rich, so whatever. I'll coast until I find something better. I sat back in my chair. My palms were cold. There were dozens more. One where she said, Tessa doesn't get it. It's not about being good. It's about being seen. Another, Chase is like, obsessed with her still. But give him a few weeks. He's already cracking. Robin kept forwarding the files. My inbox pinged nonstop. Then came the fansite post. She had been posting anonymously on team forums. Claims that I had quit due to burnout. That I couldn't handle the pressure anymore. That Kayla had stepped up to fill the void I left. It was coordinated, methodical. She hadn't just stolen my spot. She'd rewritten the narrative. Sponsors believed it. Fans too. Even the league hadn't questioned it. I was the ghost of a fallen prodigy. She was the plucky underdog, stepping in to save what I'd left behind. Robin messaged again. Check this one. It was a DM thread between Kayla and a mid-tier manager from a streaming agency. She claimed she had taken over because I flaked under pressure and that the team begged her to join. She even pitched a merch line using Eclipse Core's logo without permission. And then there were the cheat logs. Robin found evidence of Kayla using aim assist software during rank ladder grinds. She had used the second laptop, one under a fake username, to test it. She was trying to boost her numbers before the season started. Chase had liked every one of her stat posts. That night, I copied every file into a folder. Videos, memos, screenshots, dates, password logs, DNS lookups. I named it proof_01. I didn't know what I'd do with it yet, but I knew this. She thought she was playing a game. She forgot I wrote the playbook. To everyone watching, I was the bigger person. I posted a short video thanking my fans for their support, said I was taking time to heal, and wished Eclipse Core luck at the championship. I tagged Kayla, even called her a rising talent with a lot of heart. The comments poured in hearts, hugs, respect emojis. People ate it up. Privately, I responded to her message. Glad you're coming to the finals. Would love to have you say a few words pre-match. I replied with a smiley face and a thumbs up. Wouldn't miss it. They thought I was done. Kayla sent me a selfie in her team jersey with the caption, full circle moment. Thanks for everything. I didn't reply. I just forwarded it to my editor friend with a note. Make sure this one's in the montage. Behind the scenes, I got to work. First, I called the league organizers. It wasn't just a friendly chat. I asked about the championship logistics, who was covering what invoices were still open. The coordinator, Bree, didn't even sound surprised to hear from me. Still feels weird you're not playing, she said. Kayla's good, but you were the team. I kept it friendly, then slid in the bomb. You might want to double-check your sponsor confirmations. I heard some of them didn't finalize the payment agreements. Also, the production company handling the stream? I think Kayla forgot to submit their W-9 forms. Bree went quiet. What do you mean? I shrugged into the phone. Just a rumor. But if I were you, I'd follow up before the venue locks you out. Next, I made 3 quiet calls to brands I'd worked with, brands Kayla had been bragging about in her IG stories. One of them, a major PC hardware sponsor, had been told I was burned out, and that Kayla was now the team's marketing point. They hadn't seen proof of that in writing. I fixed that. I forwarded them a timestamped email from the month before, one that showed her lying about my health and claiming I'd stepped down permanently. They replied within the hour. We're out. A small part of me almost felt bad, but only for the fans who thought she earned her spot. I spent the night queuing up the montage. I cut between her fake confessionals and real voice messages, between her motivational posts and screenshots of her cheat software installs. I overlaid the clips with cheerful background music, the kind you find in a team highlight reel. By sunrise, it was perfect. At noon, I texted Bree. Got my remarks ready for the stage. Cue me up after player intros. She replied, Roger that. Can't wait to hear it. Neither could I. The arena was electric. Stage lights pulsed to the beat of a high-energy remix. Fans waved LED thundersticks, and camera drones zipped overhead, capturing every second. Eclipse Core banners flanked the stage, team colors glowing across massive digital displays. It should have felt like home. But I wasn't here as a player. Not tonight. From the wings, I watched Kayla step into the spotlight, the announcer's voice booming. Your new Eclipse Core captain, Kayla Rowe. The crowd erupted. She gave a bashful wave, one hand resting lightly on Chase's shoulder. He leaned in close to say something, and she laughed like they'd just won the lottery. And in a way they had. Until now. Bree's voice came through my earpiece. You're up in 2. I took a breath, smiled into the mirror just off stage. adjusted the mic clip to my collar, then stepped into the light. A hush fell over the arena as the announcer spoke again. Before the match begins, a tribute from the former team captain, Tessa Rowe. People clapped. Cameras panned to me as I crossed center stage. I held the mic with both hands steady and calm. Hi everyone, I began. It's surreal being here and not in the player chair, but I'm honored to stand here as someone who helped build this team from the ground up. The Jumbotron flashed clips, old match footage, scrim highlights, my photo at the Season 9 finals holding a trophy with Chase beside me. I smile faintly. Today's a celebration of new beginnings of the game and of the people who push us to be better. I looked straight at Kayla. So I'd like to thank my sister for her ambition, her determination, and for always taking what wasn't hers. There was a pause. A ripple went through the audience, some nervous laughter, a few confused murmurs. Kayla's smile froze. Chase glanced between us uncertain. I brought something, I said. A little tribute of my own. Roll it. The screens behind me went black. Then a video began. It opened with a voice memo. Kayla's voice, slurred and smug. He's dumb but rich. I'll coast on him until something better comes along. Gasps. A few people laughed, not kindly. The next clip. A screen recording of her private Discord. Her typing. Tessa bailed. Total burnout. I'm basically running the team now. Cut to installation logs for Amos's software. Then, screenshots of brand DMs where she claimed I had a mental health episode and gave her the reins. Kayla's face went white. Chase stepped back from her, his arms falling to his sides. I wasn't done. The final clip was a short, jerky video of Kayla at a party, drunk, laughing into a camera. Honestly, I only joined because I knew Tessa wouldn't see it coming. Girl smart in-game, dumb in real life. The screen cut to black. Silence. Then chaos. One of the sponsors, the hardware brand, tweeted mid-broadcast, "We do not condone unethical behavior and are withdrawing our support from Eclipse Core effective immediately." Another tweeted minutes later. Then another. The crowd booed. Loud. Angry. People started chanting. Some walked out. Kayla tried to speak, her mic picking up the panicked edge in her voice. That's all fake. But it was too late. I stepped back, handed the mic to a stagehand, and walked toward the exit as league officials rushed the stage. Chase didn't move, just stood there, watching everything fall apart around him. And Kayla? She ran. Off stage. Off camera. Into the shadows. I didn't stay for the rest. Didn't need to. My job was done. The fallout was faster than I expected. By the next morning, Eclipse Core's official Twitter account posted a vague apology to our fans and partners, citing an internal investigation. But it wasn't enough. Sponsors dropped like flies. By day 3, the team's biggest financial backer announced they were pulling all funding. The league opened an ethics review. Chase was named directly for failing to report misconduct and for his role in hiding Kayla's cheating. He tried to spin it as ignorance, claimed he had no idea, but the receipts said otherwise. He was sued for breach of contract and dropped by his management agency within a week. And Kayla? Blacklisted. Every major team, brand, and platform severed ties. Clips of her drunken voice memos trended for days. Commentators dissected every piece of her meltdown in live streams and reaction videos. A compilation of her career's rise and fall hit 1 million views in less than 48 hours. The thumbnail just read, "From Star to Scandal, the Kayla Rowe story." My parents called once. Left a voicemail. "You didn't have to destroy her," Mom said. "She's your sister." I deleted it. No one ever asked how I felt about being betrayed. No one asked what it was like to see your own family smile while cutting you out of your own life. But I wasn't waiting for their understanding anymore. I was done explaining myself. A month later, I moved to Seoul. It wasn't a dramatic announcement. No press release, no farewell stream. Just a quiet flight and a one-way ticket. I rented a small apartment above a convenience store and signed with a Korean development org looking to build a new team from scratch. They didn't care about my drama. Just my skills. And for the first time in over a year, I played for myself. No fake teammates. No backstabbing family members. No one managing my career behind closed doors. Just me, my mouse, and the grind. The nights were long. The solo queues brutal. But I felt something I hadn't felt since my first tournament. Hunger. Every time I loaded into a match, I remembered what they took from me and how hard I fought to take it back. My name started showing up again in leaderboards. Analysts began whispering about my comeback, but I wasn't in it for the noise. This time I didn't need the spotlight, because I had something better. Freedom. And that, after everything, was the real victory.